Welcome to Mercy Can't Stop Her, the podcast where we share the stories of women's resilience in the middle of life's chaos, crisis, and challenges. I am your host, Judith Cambia Obatusa, JKO. On this episode of the podcast, I'd like to share an experience that I recently had, and I'll also love to talk about the things I learned from that experience and how we can apply it to our lives and other people's lives. So I recently shared a memory that Facebook brought to my news feed. This memory was a post that I made on March 21st, 2018. It was actually a Bible verse. And this Bible verse was from a Bible translation called The Message. If anyone knows The Message, it has a way of bringing scripture close to home for the reader. It uses words that are contemporary to describe the Bible verse. And this was what I shared. In 2018, I wrote the truth about me. You know for yourselves that I'm not much to look at. I've been surrounded and battered by troubles, but I'm not demoralized. I'm not sure what to do, but I know that God knows what to do. I've been spiritually terrorized, but God hasn't left my side. I've been thrown down, but haven't broken. I shared this memory on March 22nd, 2022, 4 years after. And I wrote, I couldn't help but share this 2018 memory because this is still the truth about me. That post got some of those who really cared about me making comments, and some others sending me their reactions. And it got me thinking. It got me thinking about the fact that when I made that post, I wasn't saying it was about me. It was about an experience I am familiar with. And I shared it because I wanted people who may be in those situations to know that the situation is not supposed to take over their lives. Because for someone like me, I relate to this Bible verse that says, I've been surrounded and battered by troubles, but I'm not demoralized. And that is the truth. I'm not sure what to do. Many times I'm not, but I know that God knows what to do. I've been spiritually terrorized, but God hasn't left my side. So, despite my troubles, I'm still here. I know I'm not alone. I know, and if I ever forget, right now I'm speaking and I have you listening. So I know I'm not alone. And I'm speaking and you are listening, so you are not alone. I'm not sure what to do, but I know that God knows what to do. One thing that I have learned is that those who succeed many times look beyond themselves. They have mentors. They have people they look up to. Some of us, the one that we call is God. He is the Almighty. He's the one who knows what to do when I do not know what to do. And yes, I've been spiritually terrorized because everything that happens to us in this physical realm always begins from the spirit. But God hasn't left my side. I'm still here. So I know that just around the corner, the light will shine into my darkness. I've been thrown down, but haven't broken. Maybe I could be bold to say that even if I got broken, I've been braced. I've been braced by God's grace. I've been braced by the support of people like those who rushed to my posts and put all those comments. However, there is a part of this experience that may be familiar to you, my listener. A part that says, oh my goodness, they are pitying me. Oh my goodness, it's now about me. And actually, I just wanted to encourage someone. And so because of that, I don't want to be vulnerable. And this is the situation with many of us. We do not want to share what we have. We don't want to share our experiences because we are afraid of people's reactions. Yes, when I made that post, some people saw that post and they were like, oh my goodness, is this what she's going through? Oh my Lord. And then they call someone else. Did you see the post she made? Oh my, and they will not comment and they will not share a reaction. There'll be some who will ridicule me. There'll be some who don't give a damn. They're indifferent. But there are some who came. Judith, you are awesome. People came to remind me, even though that was not what I was seeking, but it showed me that I was not alone. So when you're vulnerable, when you're sharing your experiences, even if you're sharing your skills, you are being vulnerable. If you're promoting the business that you do, the work that you do, you are being vulnerable because there will be people who will love you, embrace you, while there will be those who will repel you and your message. And because of this fear, of these negative few, many of us do not want to be vulnerable. Many of us don't want to share our experiences. Many of us don't even want to share our expertise. Even if you don't think you're an expert, the years you have spent on this one thing, this career, even if you have someone who is sitting there telling you how not good enough you are, is worth something. The thousands you spent on education, on learning, you learned something. But no matter your expertise, no matter the depth of your experience, no matter your skills, there will be some people who will embrace you, who will support you, who will go out of their way to promote you. And there'll be some who just don't want to see you in their space, not to talk of you smiling. Should we now stop sharing? Should we stop being vulnerable? Should we become who we think these people want us to be? Closeted, hiding in shame or fear of what people will say. I want to assure you one thing. Yes, there will be naysayers. There'll be the negatives. But even if it were just for the one positive, even if it were just for one person who will see that post that I made and say, oh my goodness, Judith is going through this. Judith went through this, even though that was not the essence of my sharing it. But they will relate to that post and be able to encourage themselves and tell themselves, I can too. Yes, no matter my troubles, I am not alone. Even though I don't know what to do, God knows what to do. If it were only for that one person, then that post is worth it. So I just want to encourage you today. We don't share because everybody loves us. We are not for everybody. Think about your life. Is it everything you like? There are things you absolutely detest. There are people you don't get along with. And yes, some people can go out of their way to destroy the life of someone who they don't get along with for no good reason. You are not like that. But that doesn't mean that it's everyone who shares your values. One reason you should share, apart from the fact that what you share is helping someone and you may not know who that person is the fact that where you cannot reach, what you share will reach. Let me give you an example. The book Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill was written for the first time, published in 1937. That book is the book that Bob Proctor, the late Bob Proctor, credits with changing his life. Bob Proctor is the mentor to many, many, many wonderful people. One of them, I really, really love him, Les Brown. Les Brown has gone on to mentor many, many, many people. I have never met Napoleon Hill, and I know at this point in time that I will never meet him physically. I won't even meet him because he's not here anymore. Yet I have met his work. I have met those whose lives he has impacted because he sat down and wrote Think and Grow Rich. Everybody is shouting, Brené Brown, Brené Brown, Brené Brown. She's a shame researcher. She's a vulnerability expert. She's all these things. How many of us have met Brené Brown? Very few. Yet her works, her words, her sharing so openly about her own inadequacies and the work she's done listening and analyzing other people's inadequacies, their experiences of life, has gone round the globe changing lives. I don't know who started McDonald's. I never met the man. I never met him. But guess what? You and I, maybe my listener, you may have eaten McDonald's. Think about if he never started that business. What about Kathy Heller? She started a podcast and then she's still podcasting and she's now a coach, coaching thousands of people, reaching many parts of the world. She stepped up, she showed up, and she was vulnerable. Every time you share your business, every time you share your experience, you are being vulnerable. You don't stop being vulnerable because of those people who don't like you, who won't like you. Yes, maybe the first few times you won't even get anybody who is interested in what you have to say. Or maybe you will get people who are interested in what you have to say, but they do not respond. They don't say anything. There are people who just listen and who make changes and they never come up to say, oh, thank you for this. But you're saving someone's life. So I'm just going to encourage you ladies out there, you, my listeners, can we just not care about those who may not like it? Can we just step out and be us and appreciate those who show up for us? Can we even appreciate ourselves for showing up regardless of the number of people who support us? And when you see your fellow sister showing up, can we just take a moment to support her? To say, my sister, I'm here. I can see you trying. I can see you stepping up. I can see you showing up. I am right behind you. I am right beside you. Can we do that for our sisters? Let's just keep sharing our experiences, sharing our skills, sharing our expertise. The world needs you. You know what? Mercy can't stop you. Thank you so much for listening and holding this space with me during this period. Every week when I come on the Mercy Can't Stop Her podcast, I know that you're beside me, you're behind me, you're around me, you're listening, you're sharing, you're subscribing, you're supporting me. And I thank you. I do not take it for granted. Thank you so much for listening on this episode of Mercy Can't Stop Her. And if you're a woman out there who has a story to share, please check in the show notes. You'll see a link to a form to tell me how you can come on this podcast and tell the world your story. There is a woman out there who needs your story to take her next step. Thank you so much, and see you next time.